Photokina 2018 is over, lots of cameras to talk about, but first, the Panasonic S1. So basically what's been shown of the Panasonic S1 is just a teaser because we still don't know all the specs or the features for this camera, and I don't think we'll learn more until the next couple of months, closer to the time of when the S1 and its bigger photocentric brother, the S1R, releases early next year. What we do know is that the Panasonic S1 will be the first full-frame mirrorless camera to support 4K at 60 frames per second. Both models have an SD and an XQD card slot, so that's dual card slot support, something that both Nikon and Canon didn't bother to include with their full-frame mirrorless camera offerings. We know the S1 and the S1R have a bigger battery size than the Panasonic G series cameras, but we don't know the details of how many pictures we can take or how long a video we can record before it needs recharging. The S1 is a 24 megapixel camera and the S1R has 47 megapixels, and they're both using the Leica L mount. A sweet partnership between Panasonic, Leica, and Sigma. Basically, all three of these companies will be working on making L mount lenses for the S1 and the S1R. Now, Leica glass is crazy expensive, so if I decide to invest in the S1, I'll probably stick to Panasonic lenses. What is also sweet is that the S1 and the S1R have dual image stabilization support. Now, I don't know how good this is going to be. Will it be as great as the Panasonic GH5? Or will it be as lame as the Sony a7 III? You can't say because the Panasonic GH5 has some nice image stabilization that the S1 and the S1R automatically will have this as well, because the full frame sensor in these new cameras is far larger than the micro four thirds sensor that is in the G series cameras. What we also know that kinda sucks is that the S1 and the S1R has a 3-axis tiltable screen, therefore going the fully rotatable screen that the GH5 had. Also, Panasonic has chosen to stick with contrast and DFD autofocus, which up to today can't compete with phase detection autofocus in video, which is what I'm concerned about. What might be a preview of the performance we can expect from the Panasonic S1 is when the autofocus firmware update is released later this year for the Panasonic GH5 and the Panasonic GH5S. Hopefully it's a big improvement to where they are currently. Still, if you want a full-frame mirrorless 4K camera that has a fully rotatable screen and great autofocus, vloggers, you are stuck with the Canon EOS R. And yes, while that camera is cropped in 4K, just some questions. 1, do you really need to vlog in 4K? And 2, is vlogging at 1080p using the full sensor readout and then shooting B-roll with the cropped 4K, is that totally unacceptable? Now, I'm not a vlogger, and 98% of the time I'm filming behind the camera, and I do a lot of filming manually. I only film myself for YouTube, so while it would be nicer to have a fully articulating screen and to have great autofocus, I can work without those. Now, what I can see of the Panasonic S1 and the S1R of the models shown at Photokina is that the camera has a nice design, and the press that have actually held it, they said it has a nice feel in hand. Now, moving on to the stuff that we don't know, is the 4K cropped for the S1? And if so, is it only cropped with the 60 frames per second? Will it support 10-bit 422 internally, or will you need an external recorder? What are the color profiles that the camera will have? Will Vlog be included with the cameras, or will you have to purchase it separately like you had to with the Panasonic GH5? Honestly, that would be a mistake for Panasonic to do now, because look at the competition. Fuji has the APS-C X-T3 $1,500 US camera that has a log profile included with that price. And lastly, speaking of the price, we don't know what the Panasonic S1 and the S1R cost, nor the cost of the Panasonic lenses. We also don't know exactly when it'll be released. Panasonic has just stated early next year. Hopefully it will be like the Panasonic GH5 and be a January release. So the Panasonic S1 seems good, but I need more information before I can 100% commit myself to purchasing this camera. Now, Photokina had a lot of cool cameras on display, but a lot of them were announced before the event started, including the Panasonic S1 that was announced one day before Photokina. I was hoping to see something from Sony, but they just showed off new lenses, which is great for existing Sony alpha camera owners, but I was hoping to see the rumored Sony a7000. And while it was cool to see a 50 and 100 megapixel medium format cameras from Fuji, you know, for the peasants who can only afford $5,000 on a camera, while the 150 megapixel Phase 1 XF-IQ4 camera goes up to $55,000. I'm just not into photography that much, and those prices make my wallet weep. The Zeiss Z1X looks interesting, but I don't think I want to be tied down to a fixed focal length of 35mm. But damn, that camera looks cool, and what's really cool is the 512GB internal storage. Every camera should start having internal storage. Granted, they should also still keep the external storage option as well. At the end of the day though, I still might end up with a Panasonic GH5 until I learn more about the Panasonic S1. Still waiting on more Fuji X-T3 reviews and comparisons with the Panasonic GH5 to see if that can steal my attention away and let me go into the Fuji line of cameras instead. I'm definitely not investing in both. It's either just going to be the one micro four thirds camera or the APS-C camera along with one full frame camera in the future. Anyways guys, if you like this video, please smash that like button, subscribe for more tech, cinematography, and gaming content to come, and I'll see you guys next week.